Hello again. So in the second part of the tutorial we will move to the Rhino, and Rhino on the perspective viewport. We have our grid. So what we will do now, we will uh, adjust this grid according to the perspective setting of our background image. So for that, let's put the render option Vray for Rhino. We have these toolbars. Let's keep it clean. Okay. For that we need another extension. For that you can follow the link on the announcement, and we will just download Safe Frame. And then after you download it, you need to unzip the file, and then we do not need background image, so close it now. Okay, and then after you unzip it, you just need to drag the file on the Rhino, and then you will have this icon here. Move it here. Okay, so this is the first part. After you all have this icon here, we will go to the viewport options, viewport properties. From there we will put our background image as a wallpaper. The desktop background. Okay, as you can see, our background image is in a low resolution and black and white, but it doesn't matter. It's a stable image at the background, and we can move the grid as we want, as you can see. So now in the second step, we will arrange the render size. For that, go to the background and see the details, properties. Okay, dimension is 5100 to 3300. So go to Vray options. From the output settings, and we will put width 5100 to 3300, and image aspect ratio, keep it constant. Okay, so the render size is arranged. So when you click this save frame icon, as you can see, this yellow line just giving us the border of the rendered image, and this will be the render frame, and this is the grid. So in the detail, as you can see, some of the images gives us the focal length, so mainly the lens options of the camera. So let's adjust that from Rhino V-Ray options, from camera settings. So for that we will do it on viewport properties. So yeah, lens length. So let's put 17 as it says in the details. Sometimes it's not correct, so probably this one will look like more like a fish eye view, very much distorted, as you can see from the grid. So we know that our image is a bit panoramic, so it doesn't have a normal setting. I will put a number between 20 to 30, let's say 20 to 30, so 25. Okay, each time the grid setting is changing, we will see that more clearly when we start to play with the model. And then by just dragging, panning, and rotating the grid, you can just adjust the perspectival setting of the grid to match with the existing perspectival setting. But this has only one grid, so we need at least two grids to see the horizon lines to keep things easier. So for that, first I will construct a plane. Then I will create a grid by contour from here to there, 20, and the same from here to there, 20. Okay, then we can delete the plane. Oh, sorry. We need to select the plane, not the lines. Contour. Okay. So we will delete the surface. We used the select surface option and we deleted it. So now in the perspective we have our own grid. And let's turn off the preview of the Rhino grid, show grid now. Okay. So now we have our own grid. We can play with it, we can copy it. Let's copy grid and make two grids parallel to each other. In the perspective, well, okay. So now we have two parallel grids. So mainly we are trying to make the lines of the grid parallel to the lines of our image. We know that this is a right angle corner, so this line perpendicular to this line, we know from the grid this line is perpendicular to this line. So we almost adjust the perspectival setting of this floor and also this floor. We know the horizontal line, horizon line is somewhere here. Okay, so we set up the perspectival view. So from now on, if you build up anything on this setting, let's focus on that and draw a plane. Extrude surface. Okay. So no. So whenever we move this prism, we will have the same perspectival setting. You can see. You see vertical lines are parallel to each other, the grid line. Alright, so this is one way to set up the perspective, but if you have a ready-made model and if you want to match it with the existing setting, it's better to play with directly with the model. So for that, I will open my model. Rhino 5. So I have already adjusted the view, but I would like to show you a few more options to make the settings clear. As you can see, this is my model and it's vanishing points matching with the background image. Let's play with the viewport properties and the lens length. So for that I put 32. Let's put 70 as the detail of the image tells us. For 17, as you can see, the model is distorting more than it needs to be. So it's like a fisheye view. We have a third vanishing point somewhere here. So we don't want this lens option. We will go to the viewport properties and we will let's put 50 now. Let's try the other maximum. Okay, so 50 is getting closer to us. So for the photographers, these settings are more meaningful. So I just want to delete this setting and this slide option as well. Okay. As you can see, for this, our horizon line is somewhere here. All the vanishing lines coming here, and these are coming here. So the horizon line is somewhere here. We know which is not true because horizon line must be somewhere here at the ground level of these buildings. So let's change the lens length again, put 30. Okay, I know the scale is not right, it's a little bit bigger, but the important thing is the vanishing points. These are going somewhere here. Okay, it's around the horizon line. These are going somewhere here. It's a bit higher than the horizon line. So let's change the lens option again and put 32 for this specific image. So if you don't know the lens length for a specific image, then you can just try it different numbers, try different numbers for the last line and find the proper one. Okay, so basically this would be a right vanishing point somewhere here and a vanishing point somewhere here. The horizon line is somewhere here. Okay, so ideally this is okay. At this point you don't need to be very accurate because we will play with the perspective adjustments of the render on Photoshop again, because it's kind of impossible to fit all the lines and match all the perspective setting with the existing condition. So at this point we just need to have a proper idea which fits more or less to the existing option. Then you just need to follow the rendering tutorial that you did last week and the previous week. So for the materials, I will suggest you one more website. With Maths, you can download materials for free and they have a large library and different materials. And also the light options and the camera options, they are all set up. So in order not to lose this viewport, there is one more thing. Go to set view and name views, and you can save this view as render model. Okay, so when you render, you will just have the model, not the background. Okay, since I didn't turn on the sun option, it's a bit dark, but as you can see, we don't see the background image, we have only the building. And also if you want, you can put a infinite play and then turn on the sun. Manual option, I guess this not something like this, light condition coming from there, higher. Okay, for the sun setting, you need to be careful. You need to see the existing shade and shadow conditions. As you can see, there must be a building right over there that we can see the shadow of that building on this surface. So sun is hitting from this direction on the building, and from the window we can see there is a little shadow, so it's mainly hitting something like this with this angle. So from the sun options, we put the north on the opposite direction, so the sun is coming from this way, the sunlight is coming north, and not on the top. Okay, some positions, we put the azimuth and the altitude. Okay, and then the line option for camera, we can decrease the shutter speed. Let's put 100. Okay, we didn't put okay, so as you can see, this is the angle. It's more like on this facade, so it should be something like here. So let's change the setting a little bit. Okay. Okay, this time it will give us a, alright. So I will just delete the other lights option. We have this sunlight option. From the properties we can increase the sun size. Let's put 35 or something like that. This option was also in your previous tutorial, so you can just follow that one as well, or you can just follow trial method, just try and see what's happening. And if I right click and select the area here, it will just render that specific area. So okay, we see that this facade is very bright, so the sun is hitting directly to this facade. The material looks the right color, right texture. Alright, so we can just check the other facade as well. Okay, this side is also bright. We don't have any shadow. We only have the shadow of this projection a little bit here. Okay, so that's the right sunlight angle, and that's a good brightness. And I will just render my image. So this is all for today. So we want you to follow these directions and have a rendered image of your model for the next session. And on Thursday we will have our rendered image and background image on Photoshop and post-process it, and we will just adjust the light conditions, perspective, and we will add some cutout figures like the human figures, cars, and also we will add the reflections of the other buildings on the windows of our rendered image on our model. That's it. So if you need some more help, I will provide you some extra tutorial source, so you can just check those tutorials as well.